Okay, well, Che Vador, you're going to be joining me today on Schools in Session. Thanks very much for joining me.
No, thank you for having me. This is great. I appreciate it.
No, not a problem. This is going to be a lot of fun. So first and foremost, I just want to know we're looking at kind of a top-down thing too, or we want to kind of go into some like talking strategy and stuff too, right?
Yes, so let's do top down, maybe a condensed version, because I have been playing for a while. I think I do know, for the most part, beast aside, which are a headache to me. I kind of think I do know what I'm doing. But I could always use, a second pair of eyes, kind of give
For
me some
sure.
more tips. I know you're gonna bash me on my armaments, and then yeah, I got some questions because I am a leader of my alliance, and I know you are too, so I would
Sure.
love to, ask some questions at the end about that.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So let's start first. I think our biggest thing that we're going to want to look at, I mean, we kind of looked at your profile a little bit, but if you click on your profile for me real quick, I just want to get the viewers a kind of a setup with what we're going to be talking about. So Che Vador here is obviously he's been around for a while. A 158 account is actually older than my original account. So he's been in the game for I mean we're talking over 1,000 days. Well coming close to 800 900 days. Um, so the experience is obviously there. There's not much we can say about equipment because we're talking about all red equipment. All we'll be looking at is parts and stuff like that. There's lots of experience, but even if you look at farming and stuff like that, like there might be some things that we can talk about, but it should be pretty quick to go through. And then obviously we can open the floor to any kind of questions or advice that you need in regards to, like I said, leading the alliance or finding a good region or picking our fours, anything like that is totally fine too. Um,
Okay, great.
so once we have this, let's obviously just take a quick look. You're obviously a rider main, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I will say a longtime drifter
Yeah.
turned into a rider main once
Yeah,
I
yeah.
figured
So
out.
so like most of us, you invested in what you had before, and then only maybe a little bit later did you pick your main focus.
Yes.
Yeah, totally understandable. I think a lot of people did that too. I have some. I mean, everybody technically has an awakened Liam that they regret. So I don't I don't think it's a problem.
Yes.
For us all to be in that wall. Okay, so in regards to your parts, I mean, obviously you're doing well. I think the only difference, that I would look at, I guess depends a lot about on how you fight in the field, what kind of troops, like how many marches you choose to fight with and stuff like that. I'm not sure what your perspective is there. So
I yeah, go ahead.
no, I was
Sorry.
just gonna say, so what do you kind of do in the field? What's your
So I do love to field battle.
yeah
Um, I Let me do a march and kind of show you. I set one of these for every event. So before every event, I kind of set up what I want to do from here. Or, I might take off these two and maybe focus on these three because they're stronger. But if not, I'll add this one because it's not bad. It's like 2.5 million might. And I can let range troops sit in the hospital while I heal the others. So it kind of depends.
sure.
But mainly three. And the reason being is, I've been playing this, like you said, for a while. I have a good set of armaments, um, kind of spread out. One of the things I like to do when being an alliance leader is you kind of, because of, the type of alliance I run, being a jack of all trades, it's useful.
Mm-hmm.
While it may not be necessarily beneficial for me as an individual player, for the alliance, it's actually useful at times.
Well, actually, I was
So,
gonna suggest that. I mean, you're getting to a point now, like once your equipment starts to get there, and then you start to get into the golds and red parts, and now you're starting to look at like once you have armament sets that are above 3 million in multiple different like you're kind of at an align you're kind of at a profile might or an account might where you're gonna be moving into a secondary set, right? Like a secondary, arm of troops.
right,
I still might suggest fight not putting in your ranged troops just because, like, yes, yes, they can sit in your hospital, but then what that does is it basically removes that portion of your hospital that's usable for usable troops, right?
that's true.
So you're going to end up killing more of the troops that you want to save and be able to heal over the ranged troops, which, I mean, at the end of the day aren't doing as much for you. So it might be a situation where I might contemplate, instead of using a secondary or using a third range line, using a secondary infantry line instead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then doing those 4 and working kind of on that set. So you are kind of in that situation where you could be looking at having multiple troop types. So just kind of keep that in mind, all depending on what your armament sets are going to look like, which we'll dive into when we need to. So
Okay. Sounds good.
I do see you have an Awakened Mai. That's great. I do see you have an Awakened Bella and Elena and Felix. That's awesome. Or Daryl. That's awesome. I will suggest, however, that you probably don't lead with Mai. Just go to Mai for 1 second, just to refresh my memory on her. Yeah, so she's got field battle for speed. So unless you're using that specifically for chasing and stuff like that.
Which, yeah, so I am currently, Battleground, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
She's absolutely a monster there. She can pretty much outrun everyone.
Oh, for sure.
If you look at my armaments, I have extra speed, travel speed on, almost all of them. She's great for that. On the field battle, you're right. She's not that great. But she's Awakened, and she's my secondary field battle
But here's my suggestion.
leader.
Here's my suggestion. You can still get all of the benefits of what she does for all of her skills and speed and damage and shit like that. The only reason why I don't suggest using her is because she doesn't have the skills damage tree, right? She doesn't have the skills talent tree, and that's kind of important. If you go back for a second, she's got the field battle tree. So if you go to hero talents and you look at the field battle tree, which you've done entirely, that one is based almost exclusively on movement speed. So yes, she's going to be super fast. And yes, there's going to be value for that. You miss out on a ton of damage. And you miss out on a ton of like skill damage, survivability, and things like that. So it's one of those things where yes, you're going to get that field battle, and having her and running her and leading her for bounty ground, totally understandable. However, your better bet will be to actually take that armament set, put it on Bella, and swap their roles in the field. Because that way, if you look at Mai, for example, you're still getting the benefit of her being awakened. You're still getting the benefit of all of her skills. But then you're taking advantage of Bella's skills talent tree. So if you go to Bella, for example, she's got the skills talent tree. Go to her hero talents, and you've got the skills talent tree done all the way up, which means that you're going to be putting out more rage skills, putting out more damage. And in overall, since skill damage is such a huge factor in this game, it means that your troops will have more survivability while still getting the movement speed from Mai and her skills. Okay. So that would be the only thing. I wouldn't lead with Mai in the field as much as I would lead with Bella, just to take advantage of that skills tree.
Okay.
Now, we will talk armaments just because I have my own opinions in regards to armaments. Like you mentioned, you got a lot of travel speed on your armaments, and I'll be the first one to cringe when I hear that. Just because every skill that you have, or every hone that you have that's put into travel speed, is one that you take out of your damage or defense or HP or all these other valid tricks. And unless you're building a march that is specific to hunting farms or getting out in the field and specifically just outrunning everybody, in my opinion, you're going to do much better by having those armament hones as like block lethality or attack defense, or whatever you can get from there. But that's again just my own personal thing.
And I agree with it. I do a lot of hunting on like AR, for example. I'm a farm hunter for sure. I think I was like top 5 in the last AR that we won. It does give me a lot of points. And I have been slowly changing that.
Mm-hmm.
I do have Chasey have transcended. And those armaments on her, that will make her a 3.8 million garrison Chasey. And obviously I would have to switch those.
So
speed.
I'm also noticing, I mean, that's exactly what you're kind of looking towards the future, right? You want to look at that Chasey towards something you'll be able to fall into. And even now, having her 2 transcended, is going to be something you can rely on and put those big, armaments on and use. But I am noticing something that I'm also very curious about, and I'm hoping we can clear off today. How many armaments do you have equipped currently?
I knew you were gonna bash me on this. I have a ton.
Okay.
I have probably 32 million in might.
Just on
And
armaments?
yes, and
Okay.
I probably had over 40. I've been slowly getting rid of them and buying, on the weekly armament parts. When a good one comes up, I've been buying those.
Yeah.
With the other parts. Two reasons why, and I know there's two ways of doing this. You can demolish everything and focus on one troop to be super high. And that's what a lot of free-to-play players do. And I get the logic behind it. I
Okay.
like field battles, so I'd rather have 3 squads at 3+ million
Mm-hmm.
than one at 4.
100%. That advice is dependent entirely on how much you end up spending in the game. And I think we've spoken a little bit about this outside of the chat. But you consider yourself kind of a dolphin, so that you have a decent investment in the game, correct?
Yes, baby dolphin.
Yes, which gives you more of a freedom to flex those types of things. So having 3 million sets, totally acceptable, right? I don't disagree with that. But let me ask you a question. Why do you have purple armaments on Chasey?
Just to place them. Um, Back to the leadership parts, matchmaking is a huge part of my alliance succeeding in events.
You
I've
know that.
noticed,
Sorry, do you know that by equipping your armaments, you're making your matchmaking harder?
yes, and I put them
Okay.
on just for for our chat because
Oh,
they
okay.
wore off because of the current matchmaking, for Genesis.
No.
Um,
I mean, having the armaments equipped, just inflating your might, is worse for matchmaking. But also having the armaments in your bag is worse for your rating, which makes your matchmaking harder as well.
I was aware of the matchmaking. That's why they're always off, and I ask everyone in my alliance to take them out during the matchmaking period. But I didn't realize having them in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the battle rating is such a mystery that I wasn't really aware that that also impacts it.
Yeah, so let me give you a little bit of a breakdown on how that runs so that there's a better understanding, because here's the thing, you don't even have to take your armaments off when you're doing matchmaking for events. You don't. You really don't. There is only one specific case when taking your armaments off will make matchmaking easier, because the game uses two different types. It uses two different sensors or two different metrics to do matchmaking. It uses might to determine what war zone you're in. Okay, so
Yes.
if you're in elite and you want to, if your alliance is normally in elite and you want to get it into fearless, then yes, taking off your armaments to drop might to get into fearless makes sense. But it won't affect your overall rating inside the war zone itself, because once you go through your matchmaking and are into the war zone, it now uses your battle rating, overall battle rating, to find your matches within that war zone. and
Okay.
and the
That makes
battle
sense.
and the battle rating includes the armaments that you have in your bag,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. So what I've been doing lately, we've had really good success, is getting into what the fearless is the middle tier.
Now, elite is the middle tier.
So I've been trying to get at the bottom of the elite tier, the middle tier,
Yep.
and we've had a lot better success with matchmaking there than what we've been doing for the last 2 years
In
plus,
fearless. Yep.
which is fearless. We always face wells. We're always outmatched. At the bottom of the middle tier, I've noticed that, I'm in the top 5 as far as strength and points and whales, and I'm not even a whale, but
This is
I'm not really seeing a bunch of whales, so we've been
Yep.
having some good success at that.
This
So
becomes my biggest point that I've made to the unbalance of to how bad immigration has made this game, because fearless the lowest brackets have the strongest sandbagging whales and the most amount of imbalance in the game. And I said the same thing. We play in the same area at the bottom end of Elite, right? We know our battle rating will match us in about the mid to the top end of Elite. I know that's coming anyways because our rating is pretty good, right? But if we can get into the bottom of Elite or the medium to bottom of Elite for the overall matchmaking and then let the rating carry us, we have been doing predominantly very, very well in Elite. Same concept. But here's the thing. All of the armaments that you're not using, so all of the purples that you aren't using, all the purples that don't have any value for you, especially as a dolphin, you should be looking not at purples, but you should look at your minimum goal to use an armament as being a legendary. Your main goal as a dolphin, because I consider myself a low spender, but even as a low spender, I'm focusing more on superbs now than ever before. Because that's how you get your 7.5 million sets. That's how you really determine whether you're an active player or not. So if you want to have sets in the field, you cannot have purple armaments. And every purple armament that you have that's in your bag, that's either equipped or isn't equipped, is damaging your rating. And taking all of those metal parts away from you so that you can get the actual fragments that you need for those legendary pieces.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Right?
I guess it sounds like I have to speed up the process of getting rid of them.
My suggestion is to equip the main lines that you want, right? So if you want 3 lines, equip your main 3 lines. If you want 4 lines, equip your main 4 lines with your best armaments. Equip your top leader so you still have a leader set for superbs, right? And then literally all the purples that aren't equipped, demolish them. All the golds that aren't equipped, demolish them, and as quick, and all of you can, because if you can, even if you have them stored as chips or the bolts or whatever that you need to use in the armament store, right? That's not counted against your rating. Having them in your bag is. So if you're not using them, and if they're purple, they have literally no use for you.
Yeah.
Because let me break this down for you. Let me break this down for you very, very quickly. A full level elite armament is going to give you at max 275 million might, or 275,000 might. Whereas a level 3 legendary gives you 320 or something like that.
Right.
Right? So already just having one level 3 will do better for you than having a full level 5, especially when you take into account the actual hones that come out of those as well.
Right.
Right.
No, and I see the logic, and I agree. And that's, has been my focus, is these great set. I like them. They're hard. They're hard to get the pieces, but they're not impossible. The minimum to be able to do good in battle or garrison or whatever it may be is 3 stars.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you really start noticing the difference. I got 2 of them that I need to get to 3 stars. But even at 2 stars, they're not bad. They're better than any purple ones for sure.
Well, here's the thing. Even at 2 stars, you're getting more skills than you would on a legendary or on an elite. And you put the hones in, you can get those reds. So even if you take a 2-star with 3 red hones on it, is going to be far more impactful than a maxed out purple, even with the purple hones being the max that you can get them.
Right. Absolutely.
And especially at your metric where you are now, what you should be working on is those superb sets, making sure that you get and focus on those superb parts so that you can get those superb sets filled out. I'm in the same boat. I'm working on mine. My pants are only a 0-star, but my gun, my helmet, and my backpack, I think, are all 4-star. So superbs should be what you're looking at. And yes, it does mean that you're working effectively on one superb set at a time, but you're still working on 2 other legendary sets that are still going to be combative, because you can still get those superb or those legendary sets up to 5.5 million, I think. So they're still fighting capable in the field, but you're really going to be working on one superb set at a time. That's going to basically be your dominant march, your dominant thing that you'll send rallies with, or you'll start garrisons with, or whatever. So having that one superb set be as uniform as you can isn't a bad idea either.
Right. And that's what I've been doing on my second one. They're pretty close to maxed out. I guess all are except for the Windbreaker, and she's what 3.4. So yeah, two at 3.4, one with superb and the other one with regular. And I'm just using Myas to show the might, not I've taken your tip and switcher with Bella as lead, but just to show the might. Yeah, I get that. And I'm actually working on a third set um to be able to, to do more field battle.
Yeah. And here's the biggest thing. I look at your account. If you back out for a second, and we've spoken a little bit. You said that you have 32 million armament might, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Which basically means that you are overrepresenting your account by about 12%, about 10%, right?
True.
Which, I mean, at the end of the day, it depends on what you're trying to do. But for your matchmaking and for all that kind of stuff, your whole theory should be to be as low a might as possible, but to punch as hard as possible. That should be your concept, right?
Right.
So even if that means, losing out on 25 million armament might that you're never going to use and using that towards building up those 3 sets that you want, or even 4 sets that you want, like, just go to your bag for a second. I just want to see what armaments you have in total. And you have a ton of fragments and stuff to choose from to build more.
Yes.
So you have a ton of capability to turn it all into. So click on one armament. Actually, go to your armament store for me for a second. Nice shelter.
Thank you.
So you only have 500 frags or 500 bolts. What you should be doing, and I'm not even kidding. What you should be doing is clearing out this store every single week of the exact parts that you want. So you should be every single week clearing out the choice box, the 10 choice boxes, and then the 5 specific fragments for the specific armaments that you're clearing. And knowing what you have for armament fragments or choice boxes or things like that, you have a ton of capability and potential to have those armament sets be much stronger than 3.5 million. Like, not only do you want these fragments, but scroll down. You want those honing chips. Every single week, you want to buy those 5 honing chips. I didn't for the longest time, and I'm regretting it now, because honing chips are so unbelievably valuable. They're like the most sought after thing in this entire game. Right? So you need to get your honing chips every single week, and you need to get those 10 legendary fragments and the 10 legendaries or 20 legendaries for the specific ones that you're working on, right? If you're working on your rider set, then you're looking at your subgun and your German subgun and your Uzi. If you're working on your infantry, you're looking at spike shotgun and rhino gun. And you want to clear those out every single week that you can. And knowing how many fragments that you have a ton of capability, not only to upgrade those ones to level 5 right away, but you also have the capability of turning and upgrading your farming ones. I'm going to assume, have you equipped your farming heroes as well?
Yes.
Okay, I want to run through your farmers real quick, just to see what you've done in regards to what their equipments are. Because I know a lot of people have equipped their farming heroes, but they have a lot of the wrong armaments on it, so they also have some inflated might with the wrong armaments. And there's a very strategic way with your farmers to be kind of smart with what you put on them, but still get the most value out of them.
So I had all armaments off, but I put them on before this, so I didn't put them correctly.
Okay, so let's just go through and clear all your armaments off.
Of everything.
Yeah, well, let's just clear off armaments off everything. Let's reset your armaments the way that I would suggest doing them, and show you what armaments you have that aren't being used, so that we can see what actual potential you have. You have to go back and switch your armaments anyways, because like you just said, they're not done properly.
Right.
But if we do it this way, this will give us a true understanding of what the potential of your account is, and give you an idea on how much inflation you have. Because the worst thing that you could have the worst thing that you could be is a fluff ball. And if you know what that reference means, it's literally when you have so much extra might that you're hitting well below what you should be hitting at. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Chad, who's on our team, he's one of our main rally leaders on our team. He's about 220, 230 million might. But he hits way harder than that, right? Because he focuses on keeping his might low, focuses on keeping his troop count low, focuses on keeping it to things he can manage. Armaments are hyper focused as well, all that kind of stuff. Because if you go back out now and let's take a look at your might, I mean, we've dropped you down to 171. Now, once you equip your main lines, you're still going to increase that by like 10, 15 million. But there's a huge difference to what you're actually bringing to the table versus what you're anticipated to bring to the table, right?
And I agree. And I've known this and I've been working on it. The other half is sometimes, when you get into the last half hour of matchmaking before reset,
Yep.
the needle moves a lot, and sometimes I have to equip everything just to be able to make the bottom of the middle tier. Because everyone's trying to do the same thing.
But remember,
So
here's the biggest
not
thing
the
I think.
best reason,
Yeah, I totally understand,
but
but here's the
it
biggest thing that I
helps.
think people forget. You don't have to get to the bottom of elite. That's just for your ranking. That's just for your war zone. You just have to get to the bottom of elite for your battle rating. That's what you're looking for. You can be at the top of elite. It doesn't matter. You're in the same war zone. None of that matters. What matters is your battle rating. Once you're in elite, you're in elite. Whether you're ranked, 101 or 255, you're still in the war zone. It takes battle rating after that. And that's what
Right,
you want to be at the bottom of elite, which is
right,
being inflated by all of the extra armaments that you have.
right. We're just at a spot where we can qualify for both,
Yeah.
and it really depends on what we're trying to achieve, which now is the bottom of the middle tier.
Yeah, so
So,
if that's what you're shooting for, if you're shooting for elite, it doesn't matter where in elite you rank at, as long as you rank in elite. It's the battle
okay, I
rating
didn't know
after
that.
that.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a huge thing to understand. So it doesn't matter where your matchmaking puts you in that battle ranking, right? It's based on battle rating after that. And I've seen this because we have matched in the literal bottom of elite and then got matched in G8.
okay,
Right? So it might be misunderstood, but it's very once you're in the war zone, which is what might does, then it's battle rating to find your matching after that. And that's what we're trying to limit as low as possible. So let's go
okay.
through your
That makes
heroes.
sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
And
So sorry, what was that?
okay, so I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. And not that we could qualify, but we could be 201, one away from Apex, and it wouldn't matter. It would be the battle rating.
Mm-hmm. You could be
Gotcha. Okay, then.
100 you could be 101. You could be the absolute top of elite and still matchmaking and still rate in the very bottom of elite based on your
Okay,
rating. You can absolutely do that. If you're inflated, if if you have a ton of might and not enough battle rating, you can absolutely do that for sure.
okay. Yeah, that's really, there goes my reason to having all the potential and might, even though I know it's not good for me. But yeah, that changes my perspective, so I have no reason to keep all these armaments then.
Yeah, we really don't. And once you see how many like what your potential is for having like full armaments and having those bolts and selection every single week, like I'll spend 4,000 or 5,000 bolts every single week and I still have 15,000 sitting in my inventory, right? So knowing you're having that coming every single week allows you to grow so much faster, taking all of that pressure off of the blues and greens and purples that you have and putting all that focus into everything else, into the legendaries and the superbs that you want, right?
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
So let's go to your top leader. Who's your main leading hero that you want to lead who do you want to be your strongest hero?
Elena and Daryl are a beast together.
Okay. So let's look at equipping Elena, and we'll put armaments on Elena. But let's not quick equip. Let's actually go through and put on the best ones that you want to.
I would say most of these would be, yeah. And I know I got some work to do. I've been waiting for top commander for some of these hones don't make sense, like infantry and ranged. But I'm, waiting for the right moment to hone these.
Yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't necessarily worry about that. I mean, if you've got a ranged red, then I would. Again, it depends. If you're a medium type spender or like a dolphin type spender, then having additional, like working on additional IE augmenters isn't necessarily a problem. I have my first 5-star now, and I only have one, so I'm working on my main garrison line because I'm a garrison player, so that's kind of what my focus is. But if you're looking for more of a field focus, it's not a problem to have some of them split up. Like even for your EM turret, right? You can either split them up or keep them together. It really just depends on what you prefer. I'm not going to say one way or the other, especially if you're running the field. If you're running multiple marches, if you were hyper-focusing one troop, I would say obviously mix them together. But if you're looking at 3 or 4, I would say you'd obviously want to have more options with devices. It's the same when I look at farming, right? You have the high-performance motor. How many of those do you have?
Probably one for each squad.
Okay, one for each farmer, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. You don't fight with them?
And no.
Perfect.
I stopped getting these.
Well, stop getting them once you get them all level 5, and then even then, get them every single week because it only costs steel, and then dismantle them every time for 50 metal frags.
Oh yeah, that's a good point too.
Especially since steel is like, I mean, most people have a lot of steel. I got millions of steel left over.
No, yeah, resources are not a problem for me.
Yeah,
I
can see
farm
that.
account. I got a farm account next to me with 1 billion and everything except oil.
So,
and then
I want to take a look at your farming squads too, because I want to see what you do that. But let's finish doing this one here. So we got Elena first, and we've got her set up. That's pretty good. Let's go to your number 2 March leader. So you got Elena Daryl, who's your number 2. Bella Mai.
Now it's gonna be Bella. It was my.
Okay, I would suggest Bella Mai in the field.
Yeah, and that puts her in
Devices?
On devices, yeah. $3.4.
Okay, so now you're gonna go to your top, your next March leader, whether that's infantry or ranged, depending on how you want to do it.
Infantry.
Okay, you can just quick equip that. I'm sure it'll just give you the highest ones you can. Perfect. And then go to your next one. You said you wanted to do a possible 4th?
Possible 4th. I maxed out Catherine and Cynthia.
You don't have the
early
skins,
in the
right?
game. No, they're worthless, but I've been waiting for the last 8 months for, that special they run where you get 2 for 1.
Yeah, for their skins
that would
to come back.
definitely give me a strong 3rd squad, but I've been waiting.
So you still have Chasey though, right?
I do have Chasey. I don't have Felix, which I could run on the field with. He's not developed yet.
Yeah, but we're talking about a 4th line, right? Where this isn't your next one. This is a 4th line. You even have Rubina?
So no, not currently. So Rubina, it's what I'm working on next. I'm gonna leave Chasey as she is, and Rubina's next. And I do have, I've been saving up for the next TC.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So here's what I would suggest doing then. Equip Chasey with your 4th set and start working on it with her. Because you can still use her in the field and lead with a Felix or lead with a lead her with Rubina or anything like that, and you're still going to have a good 4th lead. She still does okay, especially knowing that you have her transcended 2 skills, right? There should be no reason why you're still not using her as well.
So you're saying lead with this undeveloped Felix and have
No, no, no.
Chasey
Lead with
support?
Chasey. Lead with Chasey.
Okay.
Because go to Chasey for a second. She still has the skills talent tree. Go to your hero talent tree for a second. Let me see what you've done to her. Okay.
So
I
I'll
might
be
switch that a
honest,
little bit.
I'll be honest, as a field battle guy, I hated investing in Chasey, but it's it's what the alliance needed.
Do you
It's
use her
probably
to
one of the
garrison? Or
stronger.
do you use her to garrison?
Yes,
Okay, so
I do.
then I would look at this a little bit differently for myself, but that's just my personal opinion. I would look at doing the talent trees a little bit differently. Still having the garrison, but instead of having it all in the rider squad, I would have it more in the skills side of things.
Okay.
Here's the thing. The skills talent tree is arguably the most valuable talent tree in the game. Because skills account for about 50% of damage dealt in a fight. So the more skills that you're pumping out, the more damage overall that you're dealing. Okay?
Okay.
There's three types of damage, right? You've got basic attack damage, you've got counter damage, and you got skill damage. Did you know this?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So of those three, skill damage is the most valuable. It ends up dealing the most, especially with how much they're scaling, how much skill damage is being dealt with these heroes. So you want to develop as much rage as you can, as much skill damage as you can, because that will do more for you than having the additional stats, like for example, you have in the helmet in the top left. That thing that looks like a helmet. Yeah, inside of the resin guard. Yes, you have the skill damage. You have a reducing skill damage taken by 15%, which is good. But the additional balance of, what you'll get from skill damage overall will actually do more for you in the long run. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
yes, it takes a lot of points to get to the reduction in skill damage up there. And you won't get as much for it as you would by putting those into the skills, so you're pumping out more skills more often. More rage more
Okay.
often. More skill damage more often. Plus, if you look at the one on the bottom right that looks like a rocket launcher, part of the skills tree, yeah, skill firepower. This one increases your skill damage by 7.5% for 6 seconds after using a skill. So you pair that with like a Chasey, or you pair Chasey with a Rubina, for example, or a Chasey with a Felix. Every time she uses her skill, she's going to benefit 7.5% to the next skill that gets done, which is going to be Rubina or Felix or whoever from there.
Okay.
So there's ways to stack it where the concept is very simple. It's kind of a race to the bottom for most things. Yes, you can be tanky, and yes, you can go with that one and try to get as much of the damage reduction as you can for your riders. But in reality, Chasey's benefit is not that she's really tanky. It's that she deals a decent amount of damage while having good counter damage for, on the rest.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
get what?
that makes sense. And I usually do the skills. Chasey is kind of not a mystery, but she is so unique that it's a little. I tend to ask people that I play with an AR, and I see they have a successful Chasey garrison. So I'm like, hey, do you mind sharing your talent tree? And I kind of copied what I saw was good
Mm-hmm.
on past events
I mean,
for her.
that's not a problem. That's not a bad way to play the game. Mimicking or not mimicking, but like copying players that do well. Totally not a bad thing. But even if you wanted to go on this tree, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, upwards of 8 points inside the rider tree that we could move into the skills tree and still have a lot of the same effect. Okay. So even just looking at having a little bit of both, if we wanted to go with that skill damage reduction in the top left, which isn't a bad choice, what's the middle point?
This one?
No. In the infantry or in the rider squad tree, what's the very middle point at the very top? No, just down like in the middle of that space, the one of 3.
Oh,
Right. So you're getting here 1.5 attack, but effectively in order to get up to that 1.5 attack, you had to spend a bunch of other skills. Go to the node right to the right. Just down from there.
Oh.
Rider squad travel speed. What do you need travel speed if you're garrisoning?
Yeah, that's
right?
a good point.
And then go down to the one that looks like a broken arrow. You only have a 10% chance to reduce target's attack by 20% for the next 2 seconds when using basic attacks. So you can account that hitting once every 10 seconds. So to me, there's this 4, those 3, plus the one that we went over. That's 8 points. We could take out comfortably, still give you the damage reduction that you still want out of that shelf, right? Taking care of that skill damage, which is fine. And end up putting it down into the skills tree, giving us more rage regeneration or more skill damage or what have you from there. Now, you might not be able to get to the skill, the tower point or the skillful firepower yet, because I think you need 1, 2, 3. That one's 4, so that's 7, 8, 9. I think you need 10 to get there. So, like, you'd be able to get right up to it. But I mean, there's still some kind of there's still a lot of kind of flexibility depending how you went with it. You could even take the points that you have out in garrison, on the rage tree, the 7 points that you have on the rage tree on the garrison side, and move that into the skill side too, because you're still going to be getting that rage, right? We're still going to be looking at benefiting that rage. Not that one, the one that looks like a wolf. Yeah, that one. So although you're getting the rage regeneration there, it's almost more beneficial if we can move those points on the other skill side too. I mean, again, depending, all personal play, just giving you kind of ideas on where you have extra points.
No, I like it. Yeah, I will do that definitely after we get off.
Mm-hmm. But even something like that, I mean, even that, Chasey still has a lot of validity in the field, right? Granted, the more points you have in the garrison tree, the less value she has in the field, but she's still awakened. She's still transcended 2 skills, so you should still be using her. You could even use her over, over a Bella or over, a Daryl or what have you, because she's still going to be super strong in that sense. So having her as your 4th set, totally understandable. Now, once you have those 4 marches lined up, right, those become the sets that you're working on. You don't really need to equip any other sets for the fighting heroes that you have. Except for 1 infantry hero and 1 ranged hero, where you can start and where you can work on you superb sets for those setups.
Yeah.
Right? So go to your outside of Miyamoto, go to your next, preferred infantry leader. I don't care who it is. Could be a Dut. Doesn't matter.
A Dut, although I like him to lead and to...
Sure. So we're just going to put equipment on her just to hold the superbs that we have. So any other superbs? No.
No, I put them on him.
Are those all the superbs that you have? No, but see, like here you have the helmet. So I would still put I would still put 1 helmet on a Dut, just to have it equipped, so that you can't accidentally it gives you more of a visual on which ones you have that are extra and which ones are not. Are you waiting to upgrade these or something?
Yeah.
So you know that you don't get points in TC for combining them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew that or not, because I know a lot of people wanted to save that, but you don't.
The first year and a half of playing this game was kind of figuring things out on my own, and I did so many wrong things that I have a fear of getting rid of things that are really hard to get and kind of screwing myself.
Oh, 100%, I get that. But this is one of those situations where mixing them together is totally fine.
Yeah. Because
superbs are so hard to get, you're really only working on 1 superb set at a time.
Yeah, and that is the plan. I haven't even honed the second set. I guess I just haven't gotten around to it.
So that's one of those things that you can do immediately, because I think you had another one for one of your rider sets, had it for, I think, your gun or your boots or something like that. You had an extra set. But that's one of the ones where you can absolutely progress it through real quick.
Yeah.
Because even, like I said, as you're going to be working on this as your, your superb set, this will swap over to your main infantry set as you have it developed to 3 stars. But just put on, if you have any of your other superbs, so go check out your gun, for example, put your superb gun there. Your boots, put your superb boots there. You don't have pants yet. Those are the hardest ones to get. Mine's only a 0-star, so don't feel bad. No, I wouldn't equip those. Don't equip those pants.
No backpack.
Only the superbs. If you have an extra superb, do you want to put a superb on her? And I'll tell you why. Now, when it comes to the device, I know that you had a secondary EM turret. Are you gonna combine those, or are you gonna keep them separate?
Kind of on the fence. Because I do feel battles, they could go on a separate one, or I could combine them. It depends how successful I am on the next event. What's it called? The different floor one.
Yeah. So,
which I've been saving after watching one of your videos. I think I have
Good.
100. I'm probably gonna get 50 more and then try again.
yeah,
And
that's
then
good.
I'll know what to do with the extra one.
Okay. So, I mean, that's a perfect understanding. I'm obviously, because I'm a hyper focus, I'm obviously in the favor of bringing them together, but equipping this one like here and having this on an additional set and working at it in time, totally understandable, right? Understand. Now, let's do that same thing with your ranged hero. So go find your top ranged hero, whichever one you want. I don't care. Just don't put it on Nora.
No.
Superb, equip it.
Even though this one's much higher.
Yeah, remember what we're simply looking at this from a perspective of what's going to be the most usable and most beneficial for you, not only now but in the long run. Now, you're a rider main, but you're moving more into infantry as well, correct?
Yeah. I'm focusing more on riders, and
Yes.
I plan on continuing that, but having a 3 million infantry set, with my parts, it's not a bad idea to have on the field.
Having the extra flexibility makes sense. But here's the biggest question. Unless you're planning to spend a lot more, working into your third troop type is going to be far more of an investment than I think you want it to be. So my advice would be to equip just your superbs, because there will be a time, especially as you're progressing, there will be a time when you want to rely on having that next range set, and they will be strong enough to be able to fight in the field, right? You want to have them at 3.5 million before you fight in the field. But if you put them out there before that, you're doing nothing but killing them off and filling your hospital with not your better focused troops.
Okay,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So although you can equip your better armament, that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at the long game. When you're going to hit the field, you want that to be a superb set.
Yeah.
Right? So go put all the superb parts that you have available that you're working on. Because even here, you're going to have a decent set for your ranged. Go back out for a second. Your ranged set, click on your Julia, is already stronger than mine because you have all of those superbs. So you're already working on the capability of bringing out a range set by itself. But all of the additional armaments that you have inside of your bag that are not equipped, not currently because we still have to do your farmers, all of the ones that are currently equipped can effectively be demolished. Go into your devices, make sure you have your devices equipped. Well, not on this girl. You have them on your top 4, right? Oh, you have a battlefield thing on her, or a high performance motor on Chasey.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, so even in here's the situation, I would take the EM turret off of a Dut, put it on Chasey, because the Dut is the one that you're not going to fight with. Chasey is the one that you will fight with. So equip it there for now, because that way you can work on it as you need to. That's totally fine. Now, you have your top 4 lines, your fighting lines picked out. You've also got one for your infantry. You've also got like your superbs for your infantry, and you've got your superbs for your ranged, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Go to your favorite leader. We're going to do the same thing for your leader set, because there will be a time, right, with Claude being introduced into the game, bringing that cooperation talent tree.
Hmm.
Makes a lot of sense to be casually working on your leader set too. And it doesn't matter who you pick. Put it on Bianca, put it on Victor, doesn't really matter. Do you have
Okay.
Claude as
Yeah,
well?
I have everything. I just haven't really focused on it because I know there's a lot of synergy with writers, especially if you max this guy out. Um, but I haven't.
Okay, well I'm just gonna let you know Claude right now is OP. So I would suggest working on it. Just put him on whoever you want and equip your
You're saying,
superbs.
Claude,
Claude is
this is
OP. He is very overpowered. He's very, very strong.
okay.
And then
Yeah, it
equip all
doesn't
your superbs.
seem. I don't think I have much as far as superb. Yeah, it's
You
just
got
these
about as
three.
many as I have, so that makes sense. Again, this will be one that you'll work on over time. Okay? So
Okay.
let's back out from here. And now let's go to your 4 farming leaders or your 5 farming leaders. So whoever your 5 farming leaders are. Do you have a set 5 leaders? Or do you just let the
No,
game pick?
I just let the game pick. I know there's strategy to it, but it's just I spend so much time on this game that I don't really care. I'm getting a lot of resources regardless, so it's one less thing to focus on. But I know there's strategy to it, so I don't. I wouldn't even know how to answer your question of who my favorite are.
Okay, so do you want me to give you the strategy to farming? Because if you're okay with
Yeah,
just letting the game go, that's fine. But I can give you the strategy real quick, and we can set up your farming lands too.
yeah. Let's do that because I do plan on getting rid of all my armaments, so it would help to know which ones to keep.
Okay, so let's go to your marches. I'll set up your marches, your farming marches first, and then we'll put armaments on.
Okay.
So find me a level 7 food node. We're gonna start right from the top. Go create squad, and I want you to pick Sarah Vandermeer, and I want you to pick Angela. No, sorry, not Angela. Chris.
Chris. Which one's
She's
Chris?
the blue one with blonde hair.
Ooh.
Blue background
Oh,
at the top.
so
Blonde hair. Yeah,
there we
Chris.
go.
And you're going to go ahead and save this. Click the save button and save this as your number 1 green spot. Or blue, doesn't matter. I use green for farming because it makes sense to me, but if you've already got them saved up, that's fine too.
I don't even know when I save these matchups don't make sense. So yeah. Okay.
Okay. So then now you're going to go find me a level 1 or a level 7 wood node. And you're going to pick Jeremy, and the second one you're going to pick is Michelle.
Which one's
That's Michelle. Yep. So go first place with what's his face? Jeremy, second place Michelle.
okay? Okay.
And you're going to save that one as your number 2. That's your wood march.
Okay.
Now go to your find me a level 7 steel. And I'm also going to show you a trick as well so that you'll be able to farm with any of these marches. And you're going to go Alexander Sokolov as your number 1, and your number 2 is going to be Angela, who is the girl in blue. Yep, there you go. Save that one as your number 3. Now find me a level 7 oil. Do you not use the search function very often?
I do.
Okay.
There's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many that I figure to be quick, but okay.
It's never quick. And that's the actual line. No, you had it right with Sia.
Okay.
Yeah, and then save that one as your number 4. Now, there's one more trick. Okay? I want you to send out all 4 of these marches. So find your level 1 food, send it out. Find your level 2, your level 7 wood, and send it out. I want you to send these 4 marches out real quick for me.
Okay. So
Because we're going to do your 5th march.
oil. Food was the first, right?
Yep, number 1 blue.
How do I get to them?
Press the swap over button. No. Press the swap over button. The double arrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Press it again.
So-
You need to go to the blue section. There you go.
Okay.
So you got 3 sections, right? You've got the black ones, the green ones, and the blue ones. I normally set these up so that I'll have my black ones are my field fighting, the green ones are farming, and then blue ones are zombie fighting. That's typically how I have mine set up. Just to add a little bit of clarity to that. This is for wood, right?
Yes.
Yep, send that out, and then find your steel, which is right beside. Perfect. Send out number 3.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Now, I want you to find a level 7 food or wood. I don't care. And those 2, this is what you're going to save as your 5th. Okay.
And these are general collectors anywhere?
Yeah. Andrew Morrison and Back Alley Doctor, if you go through their skills, they have natural just increase buff skill or increase gathering speed and squad load, I think.
Okay.
So they're just kind of a good 3rd or a 5th march.
Okay.
So now you have all of your marches set out. I want you to take a look at something. Click your profile for a second. Click squads. And click shelter squads. Scroll down for me. Do you see how many cars you have?
Mm-hmm.
All of those cars that you have currently in your shelter are useless. And I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. Number 1, it's inflating your might a lot. Number 2, you're never going to use all of those cars. Number 3, they end up going in, if your shelter gets hit, they end up filling your hospital first. So the more cars you have, the more potential you have to kill off the rest of your main troops by filling up your hospital with cars. And it inflates your might. Now, the argument could be said, well, I need at least 200,000 troops to be able to send a march to a alliance node, right? That could be the argument. Do you farm at the alliance node very often?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We don't have one right now, but we do have them, yeah.
Why?
Just to make the players happy, to be honest with you.
No. I'm not saying the team does. I asked, do you farm at it? The team does. I build one all the time. The team can have one anytime. I don't care about that. The question is, do you farm at it personally?
I do during events.
Sure, because it's safe, right?
Top commander and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But during your playtime, do you farm at it a lot?
I guess I do. If there's one, I'll farm it.
But here's the thing. You really shouldn't be. Because now that we have your troops march set up the way they are going to farm in approximately the same time. My marches have about a 5-minute gap between when they all come back.
Okay.
And when you farm at the alliance node, you don't get the 30% bonus gathering speed, which means that you farm slower. Yes, it does mean that you can send them overnight, for example, or if you're going to log off for a couple of hours or, 5 or 6 hours at a time, it might be more beneficial to throw out one march in your alliance node at that point. But you shouldn't be using that alliance node as your main source of resources. Your main source should be coming from the nodes that you get your 30% bonus from. Okay?
Okay, that makes sense.
And so I
do use cars to attack players, to kill them off instead of troops.
Okay, but here's my question. Why are you using cars to attack to kill off?
Because I'd rather save the troops and have the actual troop types I use.
So are you talking about doing like car rallies, like with Alliance, just doing car rallies and stuff like that for points?
Yes.
Sure. And you can have that validity. In GROP, my whole concept is very much like we don't do car rallies because ideally you should be getting your points during the fight times. We don't do PvP for that same reason. And I don't like to create an environment where people can sit back and just get easy points and easy rewards doing things like car rallies. So one of the things that we do, and one of the things that I've done specifically, I've deleted all of my tier 5 and tier 6 cars, and I've built only tier 1 cars. because much lower might, easier to build, faster to heal, cheaper to heal, and faster in the field.
Really?
Yeah, they're the fastest out of the cars. The higher you go, the slower they get, but the more that they carry and the more that they bring back. But if you use tier 1 cars, tier 1 cars are actually faster. I'll show you. Go back a second. Go to your barracks, your car barracks. Click on info. Click on tier 5. Oh, maybe it's the question. Maybe it's the exclamation mark. Sorry, that might be. It might be that one, or it might be the other one. No, okay, you'll have to go back to the actual barracks itself. Sorry. Click train. Click on that one and click the exclamation mark. So here we have a travel speed at 1,500, 1,600, and 32 combined is your travel speed. Click back. Go to your tier 5 troops, click it again.
Oh, wow, yeah.
1,300. So your tier 1 are much faster.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here becomes the concept. And this is the mentality that I've taken in, a lot of players have started to use as well. You want to keep enough cars to farm 5 nodes, which is what you're doing right now. 1 of each plus 1 at max. Every other car that you have is a potential wasted might, inflated might, and loss of potential resources and troops in your hospital.
Okay.
So what I would also suggest doing, deleting all of those extra cars. Lower your might as much as you can. Right? So deleting all of those cars will give you a whole bunch of extra breathing room. And then what I would also suggest doing is building tier 1 until you have about 150,000 tier 1 cars, and then deleting all of your tier 5 cars, because 150,000, I would say maybe 200,000 tier 1 cars. 200,000 tier 1 cars is enough to farm 5 of any node, because you only typically need about 30,000. So 170,000 cars, tier 1 cars, and you can farm 5 food nodes, 5 wood nodes, 5 steel nodes. Like, it doesn't matter. Okay?
Okay.
So that would be a huge thing that I would do.
Extremely helpful. I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't. These are little tips and tricks that I've stumbled on, and other YouTubers have taught me, and I've learned from other players as well. So don't feel bad by any stretch. You're doing fantastic. I mean, having 3.5 million troops is crazy. That's more than I have too. So you're doing really well. Okay, so back out of that. That's given us kind of an idea on what we're doing for farming and stuff. But now let's take these 5 farming heroes and let's equip them with our specific farming armaments. So
I'll bring them back.
No, you don't. Oh yeah, you do have to bring them back to equip them. Duh, return them. Do you know there's an easier way to return them too?
It's like all and then home?
No, if you click the little up-down button beside, you can click the return from each individual one here. It'll be an automatic return button.
Oh, okay.
And you can recall from rallies and stuff like that this way as well. Instead of having to go into the rally menu and then into the rally and then recalling from there directly, you can recall from there as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So as they're recalling, let's go find. So what resource are you the most needy of? Which resource do you need the most?
Since I'm a rider main, wood, steel, and oil always.
Okay, so let's go to your wood leader, which is Jeremy.
Which one's Jeremy again?
He's the guy with the hoodie.
Blue hoodie. The blonde guy.
Yeah. And you're going to equip this guy only with a very specific set of armaments and hones. He is going to get the backpack. He's going to get that backpack, the strap case. Now, you can give him your other strap case because you have this strap case set with oil gathering speed. So give him the other strap case. Yeah, give him this one instead. Because you're still getting 13.8% wood gathering speed for it, and you're still getting the squad load. And you can put that other strap case on your oil gatherer because you can put a strap case on everybody.
Okay.
Now,
and that's it. Just a case.
Now go to the gun. Put a shovel on him. And then the vest. The one below. That one. And then put on your device. You might want to keep that one because that one you just put on has, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I'll give you a couple of tips that you can do with these high performance motors to make sure you get the right hones on them. Because hones are obviously a tough thing, so if we can hone them for free, we can. But here's the thing. That's all you're going to put on this guy. Every of your gathering heroes is going to get one specific. They get one specific armament, and then two that are kind of uniform. Okay? So the backpack, the strap case, you can put one of those on each one of your farming heroes, your gathering leaders. You can put the shovel on each of the gathering leaders, and you can put the jacket on each of the gathering leaders. The reason being, the jacket and the backpack both provide squad load. The shovel provides gathering speed.
Okay.
But that's your farming set for your wood farmer. Now let's look at your steel farmer, which is being led by Alexander Sokolev. Now for him, he gets the goggles. Yeah, you can put a shovel on him first.
Goggles.
Nope.
Not this one.
The ones that you just
Steel.
had, the first ones.
Okay.
Those ones, yeah. Because that's going to provide your 10% steel gathering speed. You've honed that, I see.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think that must have been at the beginning.
Okay. That's fine.
That must have been at least a year and a half ago.
I'll give you a way that you can fix that so that, I mean, I don't know if you'll actually get the hones back for it. I don't think you get the hones back. But we'll have a way where you can actually set it up so you'll still be able to get the speed or the steel gathering as you need them. So this would be the only section. I mean, truth be told, the farming stuff would be the only section where I would actually suggest like hyper focusing purple armaments, because that way you can use the blue hones, the ones that we get a shit ton of that don't really count a lot for points. You can use that to hone out your at least having a legendary farming set while you're working on building up your legendary, elites. And you can choose to dismantle the elites if you want to. I don't even keep them very often. So, but put on a shovel for him. Yeah. And then a vest if you have another vest. I don't think you do. Scroll down. Nope, you don't. Backpack, you can put a strap case on this guy. Oh, you're going to save that for your oil gatherer. Never mind. Do you have another strap case of a loyal level? Nope. Don't put on those. Don't put on those. Even if they have honing, even if they have gathering hones, don't put them on. Okay. The reason is because these bags are specific for zombie hunting and squad HP. And although you can hone them, you'll be much better off dismantling them and using them for the actual hones or for the actual legendary pieces that you're looking for.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same type of idea. So you can put the device on him as well, gathering device.
Yes.
Put this one because it's a steel gathering. That's good. It's higher than your oil gathering, so that's good. And then you can put a strap case on him and a vest on him when you get them, which with the amount of frags that you have, you can easily get.
Yeah.
Right? And you can work on these ones as your next big thing.
So.
No, pants will go to oil, so don't worry about them, and boots go to food. So now let's go to your oil girl, which is Maxine. Perfect. You're going to give her oil pants. So you're going to go one down. Either that one, or I would look at the other one that you have max level or 4 leveled first. Because that gives you 15% oil gathering speed.
Yeah.
Do you have an extra shovel for her or a device? You do have a shovel too. Good. Device. Oil at 6.5. Yeah, I'd put that one. And then go to your food leader, Maxine. Not Maxine, Sarah, pardon me. And give her boots and a shovel if you have it. You can either give her those ones or the level 4. I think the level 4 is 15%. Scroll down one more. Yeah, it's 15% versus, if you go to the one above it, 17. Yeah, use that one.
And you said a shovel.
Yeah, if you have any of it, you don't have any shovels, that's fine. And you don't have any backpacks, give her a device.
And she's doing... Which
Food.
one's she doing?
Yeah. Food. Yeah. Perfect. And now lastly, go to the old doctor, the old crazy doctor. And him is a different story. He's going to get one of everything. So if you have the extra goggles, you have them in elite. Put the elite ones on him. Nope. One below it. Those ones. Those are your steel gathering.
Okay.
You don't have an extra shovel, so don't worry about that. You can put on those other farming boots. The water boots, yep. Put those on. The pants, you can give him the oil special pants. Nope. Yep. You can give him a backpack. If they've got a backpack strap case, put the strap case on him. Oh, we were going to put that one on your oil gatherer. Never mind. Take that one off.
That's right.
We'll put that on the oil gatherer after.
What about this one?
Nope. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Even if it's blue, don't do it. Trust me, you're not going to want to get into blues. And then device. Device him up. Put a device on him. What's that top device you have there, that 5-star? Okay. It's got nothing on it. That doesn't matter. That's good. Perfect. Okay, so now if you look at what you've got, back out here. Back out here. Let's go to your bag. And go to your armament section. Scroll down through your armaments. Every armament that you have not equipped currently or is not superb. Wait, is that you have another infantry superb gun? Go up a second. Do you have another superb infantry gun? What happened to the other setup that we had for your other infantry person? Did we not set one up that way?
I believe so.
A Dut. What did a Dut have for a gun? I remember we put them on a Dut. Oh, we didn't put them on a Dut. We were going to and then never did. Yeah, equip that there. Make sure you go through and, put the helmet there. Boots.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only superb.
Okay, perfect. That's awesome. Awesome. Now go back to your bag. Go back to your armaments. So every armament that you currently have not equipped, you are free to dismantle. Okay? Even the superb, you look at the superb backpack or the superb vest here and the superb pants in this middle row. Yeah, the survivor jacket and the other one, the pants on the far left, the trendy cargo pants. Let me ask you a question. What purpose do we ever need to have these?
Besides Peggy, I can't think of one.
Yeah, but are you needing help fighting zombies?
No.
Okay. So if you don't need help fighting zombies, these are nothing more than 600 fragments ready for you to break down.
Okay, that's fair.
Right? It's the same with those special boots that are there. They look good. I even had an oil gathering speed. I unfortunately honed one and I got an oil gathering speed max 25%, or 20% or whatever it is. So I use that. As much as I hate it, there's no reason to have it. So you can get rid of it.
Okay.
Okay. And every other equipment that you have, this is all adding to your rating, which is going to make matchmaking harder. And this is all going to hinder your growth from actually putting it into the fragments that you want. Because if you look at the top heroes that you have right now, go to your heroes for a second. And if we look at our top heroes, look at your Elena, all legendary. Perfect. Look at Bella. Devices aren't, but that's okay. We're working on devices, so that's still fine. Look at Miyamoto. Legendary, so we're good. But now we get to Chasey, we start to see some purples coming in. So those should be your first targets, right? Replacing those purples to legendaries as quick as you can.
Okay.
But as you noticed, out of these 4 top lines, we only have 2 purples. So why are we putting any investment on keeping purples anywhere else except for on your farming heroes?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Right? So all of those armaments can be demolished, dismantled, and brought down. But there's also a key trick that we can do here for a couple of these I want to teach you about. Because I noticed you have the devices. You have a couple of extra devices that you could probably break down and move around. If you go for your farming devices, you have how many of these? So you have one that's still a 2-star, and you can't upgrade one of your other ones with using this 2-star, right? Or this 1-star.
Right.
Go back to your bag for a second. Go to that 1-star. Do you know about resetting them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know that resetting them is basically free rolling their hones?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have those other ones that are the top, for example, it'll be at the bottom of your thing. Right there.
There it is.
So reset that. You can now break that down and increase 2 more of your other actual farming ones that you need to. Click the little reset button, not dismantle.
Reset. Okay.
Yeah, that one there. So this will break it down into its basic original armament pieces. So you're basically getting 2 fresh level 1 or level 0 armaments at the top. And then you can use those to add into your other ones.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
And other than that, you can dismantle all of your purples, all of your legendaries, and you start using those fragments every single week to get those specific legendaries that you want 5-starred, specific legendaries that you want honed to what you need, and then obviously trading those in and getting those superbs when you can get in superb fragments as you can.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And this will greatly reduce your rating and basically make it available for you to start punching a lot harder because you have so many extra armaments that aren't being used.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. And then here's my next.
And I've
Sorry, go ahead.
known I've had to do this for a while, and I've been doing it slowly, but I've been kind of stalling.
We all do. When it change is hard for anything, especially when you're looking at something that takes a long time to grow. There's risk involved. But here's the thing. When I demolished all of my purples, I'll still say it was a bad original mistake, but it was still one of the best things I ever did. Because it jacked up the rest of my armaments for the actual fighting marches that I wanted to. It allowed me to create my 4.5 million Boyd that's able to defend against 6 million sets.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And then here's what I would do. I would take the fragments that you have, right? The choice boxes that you have, take all of your purples, turn them into your farming specific armaments until you have those farming armaments set up at 5 stars.
Okay.
Right? So if you have 1,700 frags for your helmets, for example.
Yeah.
The only helmet that matters, go over to the third or the last section, is the middle goggles. Those ones provide steel gathering.
On all of them. Okay.
Once you get 5 stars on your stealth goggles for your main guy, you can literally take the rest of those fragments and just turn them in and cycle them through. So as you get regular fragments, just dump them into whatever you have the highest amount collected, build one of those, and then break it down for fragment pieces.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then only use purples on your gathering heroes only. That's it. Don't ever put purples on your fighting lines. Don't ever even try to think about using them. Use them, especially as a player of your character, of your stature, of your size, your purples are doing nothing but hindering you.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And then same with your superbs. Work on your one superb set at a time. You know, dump your rare hones whenever you get the rare hones. Dump those rare hones into the superb sets because those will be the ones that you work on fully. And then just, work on getting those set up as high as you can.
Okay.
But this will give you a ton of freedom to start really hammering into those sets every single week. Because if you're getting 20 fragments every week for armaments, you start to increase those armament sets very, very quickly.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's the max might you can get? Not on superb, but regular gold ones.
I think
3.5.
I think it's like 5.5. If you have all red,
okay.
if you have all red hones on a legendary sync, I think it's still 5.5.
Wow,
So they're still absolutely worth it to fight with. The superbs are basically just for your main set. So you're still going to run it for your rallies, for example, or your garrison sets. You still want 7.5, but having a 5 million fighting set is totally respectable.
Okay, so I could get all these with the right hones to 5.5 million.
I believe it's like 5.5. It's like 5 to 5.5 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a lot of growth still. But here's another quick question I want to touch into, because we have been going here for a while, but this is a really good one because I want to touch into the actual hones itself. Go to your top march for a second. Okay, let's look at Elena and let's look at what she does for you. Now, you fight in the field, correct?
I do.
Do you run
also,
rallies and garrisons?
When I do Chasey, I put my top rider. I put these on her, on Chasey, basically.
Okay, so when you're doing garrison, you're going to swap your top set out, right?
Yes.
But mostly your top set is going to be used in the field and stuff when you're fighting, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to suggest then. You want your top set to be as flexible as possible in having 4 specific hones only, okay? And those 4 hones are attack, defense, block, and lethality. So just like you have on this helmet, lethality, attack, block, lethality, and defense. Perfect. Okay? Perfect. Go to your gun
so
for a second.
I want that on all of them.
This is where we start to see some difference. Because although you will use this set to garrison, so there is value to having this garrison skill damage here, that is not in effect when you're fighting in the field. So what this does is it takes your 3.5 million and drops it down 100,000. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So instantly, when you're in the field, now that's no good. So I would suggest switching garrison skill damage for block, attack, defense, or lethality.
Okay.
Okay. And I would do that across all of your armaments for your same one. So if you go to your boots, for example, you've got garrison attack, you've got zombie kill experience. Both of those I would look at getting rid of as quick as you can. If you go to your scarf or your other one here, you've got squad travel speed. I've already given you my opinion on squad travel speed. Yes, it's good having it in the field, but if you're garrisoning, there's absolutely no benefit there. Right?
Right, yeah.
So again, it's 6 of one, half is on the other.
Yeah, the
exactly.
Last month I'll give up for
exactly. It would be the last one you do before that, or the weakest one you do before that. Again, same thing here. Squad travel speed I would address, but that's my own personal thing. Look at the jacket. I think I saw you've got rally counter damage. Again, are you rallying very often?
No, not until I get Rubina up to speed.
Exactly. So that means that rally counter damage is doing nothing for you. Ever. Not when you're fighting in the field, not when you're on garrison, so that would be one you can get rid of as well. And each of these little ones, especially if this is going to be a set that you want to have fluidity on, being able to put on your garrison or in the field, you want it to be as uniform on those 4 as you can. Good attack, good defense, good block, good lethality.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right? The only time you want to have specific garrison hones or specific rally hones is if you're building a set specifically for that purpose, that you won't switch off and move around and bounce around and things like that. Okay?
Yeah, and I'm nowhere near that yet.
Exactly. Okay. So following that understanding, we've got a lot you can move. Because here's the thing. If you look at her set right now, so you back out and you see her max might, you think you have a 3.5 million hero, But in reality, fighting in the field, she's only going to be about 3.2,
Yeah.
3.3, right? So it's kind of it's almost kind of confusing to the user as well, because they're going to ask, well, why am I not doing as well? Well, a lot of it can come down to those hones that we see as being there but aren't being used during battle.
Right.
Okay. And that's going to be the same thing. Sorry, go ahead.
It's the same concept as the fake might from Armaments. I get it. It's
100%.
wasted. It's wasted opportunity on having a better hone that actually impacts the battlefield.
Exactly. What you're going to use it for. Because remember, if you're a whale, the concept and the advice is entirely different, because you have choices that outpass everything. But the less that you spend, the least amount of choice you have, the more you have to hyper-focus, the more you have to be super restrictive with where you use your resources and what you're doing with those marches, right? And this is something that a lot of people have a tough time thinking. They think that as a free-to-play player, they can balance across everything and be okay. And that's just not how this works. It's just not going to be the case. Right. And although you make a good point, there is more value in having, say, 3.5 million marches versus having 4.5 million march. Totally valid, but what most people are facing is that they have one march at 3 million and two that are like 1 million, thinking that they're all 3 million. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we want to kind of get away from. So stripping a lot of this excess weight, giving us more capability to focus on what actually matters, is going to make us punch a lot harder for the weight that we're bringing.
Okay.
So, but that's going to handle it for armaments. I mean, you've got armaments equipped on your top 4 lines, so you still have 4 lines that you can fight with or move around with, 4 lines that you're working on, but everything else is literally dragging you down. So I would suggest demolishing it and using it every single week towards getting the fragments that you need for your armament sets.
Okay.
And do I even say dismantling your infantry sets too? If it's not being equipped or being worked on for a future purpose, absolutely. Like, just because you're an infantry main and you can work on a 4th infantry set, you know what I'm saying? Just because you're a rider main doesn't mean you have to work on a 6th rider set. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And that will just come down to where you want to draw the line personally. But if you're running with four marches, the rest of your stuff is all stuff that you can get rid of. And in this amount, we've already eliminated a huge amount of your might, but you're going to be hitting a lot harder for that might that we've done.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Right? And I think that's a huge part that people need to understand. It's not about getting as strong as or as big a might as you can. It's about being as mighty as you can. And I think there's a difference.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
Now, we've gone through heroes. We've gone through armaments. We haven't really talked about vehicles much, but I assume that you're pretty well with vehicles. What's your... what does your warehouse look like?
Looking for it. Where's my warehouse? Where's the damn helicopter?
I hate when you can't find it in your own one.
Seriously, what's going on?
Oh, on the left side. No, that's Survivor's Camp. Never mind.
Yeah, the helicopter's usually outside of it. What is going on here? It's no shortcut, right? No.
Oh, it's right there. It's right in the middle. We're dumb. We're missing it entirely.
Right.
We're walking around it like idiots. No, it's mine too. Okay, so you are a rider main, level 16, level 10. That's good. Level low is on the other. That's good. I mean, I can't complain. I think your best bet from here is to get your power mod tech up to 15 and then bring all the other ones up to 5. That would be my suggestion.
Okay, 15 and then 5 on the others.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and this is something that I'm starting to understand too. I used to say it's all about hyper-focusing one troop type right here, but you're getting squad protection from all of them, and it's combined squad protection from all of them. It's not just like specific squad protection.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that adds towards your barrage effect. So that's kind of a benefit as well. So you kind of want to move them up in segments. And since you already have a level 16 light weapon kit, I would get your power mod tech up to level 15 And then I would get your light protection, your light armor kit, your engine mod kit, and your light fire control up to 5. And then kind of address where you want to go from there. Whether you want to bring them back up to 10 if you're more balanced, whether you want to dump them more into your rider side to get them more focused. I mean, that becomes a call from that point.
Okay, that's interesting because this is different than all the other concepts of everything else, where you would suggest, I would think, you would suggest to just hyper focus on riders, but you're saying balance here makes
Well,
more sense.
it's not necessarily overall balance. Like you still want to be like you still want to put more of your value into riders. But I'll give you an example.
Hmm.
Click on your weapon, your light weapon kit 16. If you want to go up your next level, right, for the amount that it's going to cost you, 4,100, you're not getting any rider squad attack. You're only getting 13 squad firepower, right? Back out for a second. Go to your level 2 light fire control. For effectively the same price, right? It's a little bit more, but we're going a whole jump level up. We're getting almost the same squad firepower, but we're also getting range squad attack. And that squad firepower, click on the exclamation mark there. This is overall. This isn't just range squad firepower or rider squad firepower. This is additional. So this increases your infantry squad firepower as well because it's overall. So that becomes the difference, right? It's not necessarily
this increases my rider firepower too because it's squad firepower overall. Is that what you're saying?
It's not just doing your range squad firepower. This is squad firepower overall. So when you go into battle, it equates all of the squad firepower from all 6 of these nodes. The difference is you're getting the rider squad attack or the rider squad defense for hyper focusing into them, right?
Okay.
So that's why we kind of do it in staggered steps.
Game changer, okay.
Right? That's why we do this in staggered steps. So typically what I would suggest doing is getting everything to level 10 or getting your 2 mains to level 10 and then bring the other ones up to level 5, right? Get everything level 1 as quick as you can. Once you get your mains to level 10, bring everything up to level 5. Once you have everything at level 5, bring your mains up to 15, get everything up to level 10, right? Or move everything kind of up from that point. Because you run into something called diminishing returns. You look at the light weapon kit, and the problem is it's so much more to expand it now compared to what you're going to get for the other ones, right? So getting to level 17, although is better for your rider attack, it's not as much value as what you'll get by spreading that out and getting a little bit more of the overall squad firepower. You see what I'm saying? Or squad defense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's sort of a game changer for me putting it that way. I was not aware of that. I thought it was specifically to I
thought so too until I started to do the math. And then I went, oh shit, it actually has more value than I thought.
Oh yeah, no, that's a game changer. Okay.
So that would be my only suggestion when it comes to your workshop. But your workshop's still doing good. Level 16 is huge.
Okay.
But get your level 10 power mod tech to 15, and then start working on getting the other ones to 5 or 10 or however you want to go from there.
Would you suggest power mod first to 15 and then everything else to 5? Okay.
Because you've already got your weapon kit to 16, you want to balance out your rider squad defense.
Okay.
Because especially for riders, I think defense is important. I mean, the longer you can stay in battle, the longer you're going to be fighting. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay.
And then kind of go from there.
No, that's huge.
Any other questions about? Have we gone through beasts yet? Do you want to talk about beasts, or are you comfortable with beasts? Do you have a good idea what you're doing there?
I'm not comfortable, but I know how they're becoming increasingly more important. I don't really spend money on them, so it's kind of luck of the draw for me. I've recently just changed the support of my 5 main squad beast, but I don't know. It's one of those things, out of sight, out of mind. It's just way too much information, way too much going on here that I know they're important, but it's kind of like on the back burner.
Gotcha. And I don't blame you. I think Beasts added a whole new level to it. And I think the problem is when they first came out, they weren't really influential. But now that we have chips and now that we still have genes to come out, like there's a lot of influence that they're starting to bring now. So they're kind of a situation where you have to start focusing on them. Whether you want to spend money on it, I still think the value for your money is probably still going to be in Superbs as well as your workshop. Like those two, to me, I think are still going to be more important, but Beasts are definitely more influential now than they've ever been, especially when it comes to chips. So I would suggest having some focus on here, and I can give you the easiest rundown that I can on Beasts to kind of bring you up to speed, because the most thing that people are confused with is how they interact, like how they interact in the game. And the easiest way to explain it is that they really don't. They're kind of their own thing. So they fight beasts, and only when the beast HP is dead do they start to transfer to troop damage.
Right.
But all of their skills, all of their attributes, all of their damage they do is all within the beast system itself. None of that crit damage or combo damage or counter damage or any of that shit matters against the troops. It doesn't. It only matters against fighting the beasts. Because once the beast is dead, or once the HP is dead, all that happens is that damage is translated into basic attack or counter damage, one of the two. It's translated into an addition in that number. So it's not skill damage, it's not counter damage, like it's not anything that's going to get blocked from any of that kind of stuff. It's translated directly over.
Okay.
Right? So once you understand that everything within the beast is encapsulated in their own little thing, you start to see that a lot of it doesn't matter. For example, what do you pair them with? Just like you said, if you're not investing a ton in them, you let the game decide what they're going to be nice enough to give you, because it's a lucky draw, right?
Right.
Work with what the game gives you, pair it that way, and only consider the amount of beasts that you actually need. So don't think about doing all of your beasts. So I'll give you a prime example. You've got a level 37 plus 12 blue thing.
Yeah.
Level 37 plus 12, right? And a level 68 plus 12. A level 50 plus 13, right? Let me ask you a question. Why?
That's what the game gave me, and at the beginning, these fours were the easiest to move up. I don't actually use them now. I only have some of them for that event where, you need a specific beast type to get the most type of points.
Do you have copies of these beasts right now?
I do.
Okay, so here's what I would suggest doing. Keep the level one copy that you need to put in, because it doesn't matter what level you put your beast into that beast invasion event.
Right.
So keep a level one, go up to the beast that you have here currently, and dismantle all three of those. Release all three of them.
Okay.
Right? The game is going to equate your top 10 strongest beasts in regards to your might. So if one of your top 10 strongest beasts is this rainforest boar and you're not even using it,
it's a waste, yeah.
It's a waste, and you might as well demolish it for the pieces that you need, the dust that you need to get the legendary or chips fragments that you need from the store every week. It's the same thing as armaments. So for the green ones and the blue ones, I have one copy of each one. Level 1, I've never even leveled them up, one copy, and every single time I get a new one, I immediately release it for its fragments. Okay? Same idea.
Concept, yeah.
Exact same concept. And the blues and greens, you're never going to use except for that event anyway, so you never really have to have them leveled. And don't spend experience on them. Don't spend pristine on them. None of that shit. You don't need to. You're never going to use them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? And then, just like armaments, it's going to be the same with your chips. So go through all of your beasts on your time. Take off all of your chips. Okay? Take them all off. And the only chips that you want to equip are on the beasts that you have that are leading your marches and the support beasts of those leading beasts. Okay? So
my top 10.
Well, you've got 4 marches, so I would look at equipping 8 beasts.
Okay.
And don't even worry about the other ones. They're going to get added anyways. And technically you can pair them together because you have to use it for like arena and stuff like that. Right? So there's some value in having 5 setups. But only really focus on the setups for the marches that you're going to be using. Focus on those beasts. And the easiest way to figure out what your best beasts to pair are, unequip them all, take off all your chips, and disconnect them from their support beasts, and just see what your top 10 beasts or your top 8 beasts are. What are the top 8 strongest beasts that you have currently? Well, guess what? Use those ones until you get them replaced, or until you go in 2 months from now and you have, more time to get more fragments and upgrade your beasts at that point. And then see if maybe those numbers change over time. You see what I'm saying? Just as you're letting the game give you stuff, and then just pair them that way. And then to make it even more balanced, depending on how you want to pair your beasts, because you're looking at your lines, if you've got your 4 marches, you're only looking at 8 beasts, I would personally pair them, counter their numbers. So your top strongest beast with your 8th strongest beast, your 2nd with your 7th, your 3rd with your 6th, and your 4th with your 5th. That way your beasts are all as balanced as you can get them across those 5 or 4 marches that you have, right?
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, backwards. Okay.
Right. So yeah, you do them in reverse order so that you can have them balanced. That way you don't have one line that's going to have both your strongest beasts, and then your 4th line has your 2 weakest, because you still want to make sure that your beasts are as balanced as you can, because the beasts are really there to just prevent bonus damage. So the more balanced you have across your 5 marches or your 4 marches or however many marches you have, the more overall damage you're going to be preventing until subsequently those beasts die.
Okay. Yeah, no, that concept makes sense. I've never thought about it that way.
Now, you can go along and put your 2 strongest beasts on your one main march and just put all your value there, but you're working on 3 sets that are all kind of equally around the same, right? They're all around that 2.5, 3 million might. So to me, it doesn't make sense to overload your beasts on one march. You want to have them balanced as well. And don't get me wrong, it's not going to be perfect because your beasts are going to be what you're lucky enough to get. Right. But now you kind of have a path towards what to work on. Well, look at your top 10 or your top 8 beasts and work on those 8 and work on keeping them kind of balanced. Beasts are a little bit different because the game wants you to be hyper-focused, but the beasts want you to be balanced. It's the same with chips. If you look at armaments, for example, armaments don't work on the co-leader, correct?
Right.
Well, guess what? They do work on your co-support beast. So you want chips on your support beasts as well.
Okay, so it makes more sense. What I've been doing till now when I get the purple boxes is whatever I have the most of, I'll focus on that, which was this one.
Yep.
This was the 2nd one.
Yep.
This is the 3rd.
Sure.
So that's what I've been doing. So instead of that, from now on, you're saying kind of get this one up to 7 and maybe potentially another one up to this one up to 7 and put the chips on it and get them more balanced instead of just hyper focusing on whatever I have the most of at the time.
That would be what I would suggest. Yes.
Okay.
So if you go through like what you'll do after when we're done here, disconnect all your beasts, take off all your chips off of everything. Look at what the game has given you at your top 8, right? And make sure you click the sort button to go by might. So click on your sort button. I think you have it set to rarity right now. And just set it to scroll down for a second. There is no scroll down?
That's it.
Yeah,
there is no scroll.
Oh, maybe it is done by might.
I think it is because yeah.
Yeah, 2.8. Yeah, that's right. So you'll have it sorted by might. So disconnect, take off all your chips, have it sorted by might, and then take a look at what the game has given you as your top 8, right? And equip those 8 with chips. And that's it. Those are the only 8 that you're going to equip with chips. And then those 8 will be the ones that you work on for the next 3 months or 6 months, whatever you set that time limit. Let the game give you more as you can. Right?
Okay.
And then in 3 months, Do the same thing. Disconnect all your beasts, take off all their chips, see what your best beasts are, change your matchmaking from there if you have to, re-chip up, go on from there.
Okay. So it's an ongoing thing depending on what the game gives you. Okay.
Yeah, because remember, we're not whales.
All right.
Just hold on a second. My wife is calling. 1 second. Hello? I don't know. I'm in a recording right now. Can I call you back? Okay, I love you. Bye. Okay. Oh, I did want to talk about chips. Because the question always becomes, well, what chips do I focus on? Which chips do I put on? What attributes am I looking for?
That I do kind of get, where you want to have the ignition rays and you want to match them up. That's kind of what I've been doing a little bit.
Yeah, for the array, totally fine. But do you know what attributes you're going for and why?
No.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to give you the best advice I can. Back out for a second. Click on the attributes button. Okay, so you're currently providing 240% combo, 285% crit, and no counter, correct?
Yes.
Here's the way that this works. Click the little question mark by special attributes, and we're going to run through this and give you a little bit of details. So every time your beast is either dealt damage, deals damage, it's going to trigger crit, combo, or counter, depending on how it is. So crit, for example, when they deal damage in battle, you may trigger a critical hit based on your crit percentage. So when you deal damage, you've got a 32.2% chance to deal additional damage. Scroll down. Combo, same thing. When your beast deals damage in battle, they may trigger a combo based on their combo. So you have a 28.6% damage or percent chance to trigger additional damage. Counter is when you receive damage in battle, you may trigger a counter attack based on your counter percentage. Okay. This means that in every battle, regardless of what your beast brings by itself, if you back out here real quick, you'll see that this beast brings crit and bonus crit damage. So they're providing crit. Every time they deal damage, they have a chance to deal bonus damage. Right? So the concept is this. You can hyper-focus one stat attribute if you want, but then you fall into what is, again, called diminishing returns. The more that you invest into it, the less valuable it becomes. And this is a prime example. You have 240 combo and 285 crit, right? Which, if you think about it, I'm not sure if you're muted or not.
No, I'm listening. Okay,
so click to special attributes for a second. Which, if you think about it, should be much closer in value than 32.2 to 28.6. Because the value of those points is much closer in value. Okay?
Yeah.
Which basically means the more points that you put into one individual stat, the less trigger rate you're actually getting out of it. Okay? So this, to me, tells me one school of thought which has been working really well for me and provides a lot of damage, a lot of potential. Okay? For the low spending player or the medium spending player, your best bet is to balance those attributes as much as you can.
Okay.
Because you can, if you dump it all into counter, for example, or in this case, dump it all into crit, you might end up building a 70% chance to crit, and you might have a 50% bonus crit damage when you crit. But what would be better, a 70% chance to crit or two 50% chance times to crit plus a 50% chance to crit on your counter?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So this becomes the flexibility that you have. So if you back out here real quick and you go back to those chips, we can start to play a little bit of mixing and matching. So this character, the Sabertooth, is naturally providing crit. What you've done with your chips is you've selected the chips that are providing combo. Perfect. I think that's a great choice because you're adding that additional stat feature, right? Which will give you more damage in the long run. What I would also suggest doing is contemplating pairing this with another hero that will give you, maybe even giving you counter. So if you pair your Blaze Sabretooth, for example, back out of here real quick, and you pair him with the Gale Draco, click on your Gale Draco or the Hurricane Draco. The Hurricane Draco provides what? Counter and shield.
Mm.
So as you level up the Hurricane Draco, it will naturally provide counter, right, as its natural skill set.
Okay.
And if you give it counter chips as well, you can stack that advantage. Because remember, your support beast is going to give your inheritance of the percentage inheritance of what your technology says, up to 70% of its total attributes, which is chips included. That's why you want to have chips on your support beasts as well, because they're still getting part of that inheritance.
Okay, that makes sense.
Do you see what we're saying? So this gives you a ton of flexibility to say, well, what do I want to do for chips? It's really just going to depend on how you want those top ones to be. So if you want to bring in more counter, start to work on your counter chips, or maybe pair him with a counter beast.
Okay.
Right? So
this is the first time it's starting to make sense. So for here, I want to do the same thing. Pair this one with someone that gives me counter.
Yes, or because this one is a combo beast, pair this one with someone who has crit and counter in their set. One of my favorite sets, for example, on defense is the Pangolin, either hammer or crystal, right? Because they provide crit and counter. And then I pair that with the General Crab or the other crab.
Okay.
Because the crab provides combo and corrode. And corrode is a special type of damage. Which means that with the Pangolin and the Giant Claw Crab together, you can effectively trigger crit, combo, counter, and corrode on every single bit of damage that you're dealing. So you're allowed to stack more damage. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So the point of all this is you want balance. Unless you're a whale, balance is the key here.
If you're a whale, you can do what you want. You can hyper focus. You can this, you can that. You can get chips of all kinds. You'll have more options. But for those of us who are trying to be as efficient as we can, my best advice is to keep those attributes as balanced as you can.
Okay.
Right? So work on chips that will, like if on my Pangolin, for example, I'm working on combo chips because my Pangolin naturally provides crit and counter. So I'm working on combo chips. On the Sabretooth, for example, naturally bringing crit and damage, I might work on counter chips. You see what I'm saying? So there's lots of flexibility there.
Yeah.
But again, it's going to be based on what the game gives you. If the game ends up giving you more of the combo chips, invest more on the combo chips. Let the game dictate that kind of stuff, because like chips, because there's so many chip varieties, it's really just going to be what you're lucky enough to get.
Right.
Does that make sense?
All right, this is the first time it actually starting to make sense, yeah. Because I've watched countless videos on this. I feel like after the video, I'm more confused than I was beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of one of those things, like I mentioned before, I should just kind of leave it alone. I've reached level 55 on whatever that beast thing is. So I'm like, I'm probably not the best I could be, but I'm also not the worst. So I'll just leave it alone.
And that's not a problem for the majority. And once you start to understand it, you start to realize how impactful it becomes.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, that those damage numbers are ridiculous. Go to your strongest beast for a second. Let's do some quick math. Click on attributes. So we're looking at a 6,400 attack, right? Click on its first skill. So its first skill is dealing 546% times 6,400. So that by itself is over 30,000 attack damage. And that translates about 10% to troop loss every 6 seconds. So that's an additional 3,000 damage based on top of your attack and counter every 6 seconds once your beast is dead. And that doesn't include the extra damage from the crit damage and things like that equate. So if you don't have a beast HP, you're taking in an extra 3,000 every 6 seconds automatically.
Yeah.
And we've seen some of the troop loss numbers. If you're looking at a garrison, for example, where some of those hits are 140,000 attack.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
I mean, that's a 14 to 15,000 punch in the face. That's a skill in itself. Do you see what I'm saying? So they become super influential. So we want to kind of make sure that not only are they balanced, but you're able to kind of take advantage of that as much as you can. And I didn't know if you know this, but if your beast HP is dead, it still deals damage.
Okay.
So even if your beast HP is dead, it's still dealing damage. You're still getting the beast damage. It doesn't stop when the beast dies. Just so that you know. Okay. Yeah, most people think it stops when the HP dies, but it's kind of counterintuitive in that sense. It'll still deal beast damage the whole time. That's why the HP is really just a shield from incoming extra damage.
Okay.
And the other best advice I can give you when it comes to fighting with beasts in the field, every time you see your march beast die, your best bet is to recall your march and send it out again. Because all you're doing is taking extra beast damage.
Interesting. Okay, I haven't watched it close enough where I see the beast die in a battle, but I'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, well, as soon as you see that image, as soon as you see the icon go dim, you effectively
okay.
You want to recall that march and resend it so that your beast is fresh. Because the stronger your beast is, obviously the longer you can, but it's one of those things where there's a way to avoid all the beast damage by simply refreshing your marches every single time, but that's again based on having good balanced beasts. If you have your two best beasts on one march, well then your fourth best line is having to refresh all the time because your beast dies within the first couple of seconds of battle, right?
Right.
So that becomes part of the mentality that you want to kind of keep around it as well.
Okay. That makes sense.
So that's really kind of a top-down that we've done for you. And I think we've gone through everything. We've gone through armaments, heroes, beasts, vehicles. I mean, we've pretty much touched base on anything. Is there anything else that you need like advice on in regards to like the mechanics or anything like that in the game itself?
No, it's just real quick on my parts. Obviously, I'm focusing on riders.
Mm-hmm.
These two are what I'm doing next because that's more of a general. After I get these two to gold, would you recommend getting the rest to purple or just start to get the gold ones to red?
Your best bet, my advice, would be to make sure you get your parts white on your rider sets first. Now, this is where you're going to have a little bit of a contest, and this is the mentality. Because the backpack, like you mentioned, is kind of all-encompassing, right? It does squad damage, skill damage, and damage reduction. The problem is the backpack is twice as expensive.
Yeah.
So you can get those backpack parts to orange or to get them to gold, or you can get your rider HP to white. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm in the same boat myself. What do I do? Now, as a rider, the backpack is more important. As an infantry main, which I am, the backpack is least important because we don't do squad damage and we don't do skill damage. Who cares about infantry squad damage and skill damage? The only thing that really matters for us is squad damage reduction, right? Which is fine.
Right.
But for riders, because they deal more damage, they deal more squad damage, they deal more skill damage, it makes more sense to put more value in the backpack. If you were a range main, I would say your first focus should be the backpack. Get your backpack white parts first.
Okay.
But for a rider main, it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You can invest in your backpack because it does have more value, or you can invest in your gold parts for your rider specific because you're a rider specific and they're cheaper and you can get them up faster.
Okay.
Okay. But that's just really personal preference. If you want to have your backpack done first, go for it. If you want to do your backpack second, go for it. As a rider, you have more of that freedom. But I wouldn't spend, like if you look at my account, for example, my main, I don't have any parts in my ranged or rider sets at all yet.
Okay.
Because I don't need them. I don't use range for anything. I don't use riders for anything except filling rallies and garrisons. I've got 4, maybe 5 marches for infantry. Like everything I do is infantry, right? So I literally don't need them for anything else. And if you're
Yeah,
not
it makes
using
perfect sense.
and if you're not using ranged right now, there's no value to putting like the extra little things you get, like if you click on your helmet, for example, and you click on the respirator, leveling it up doesn't do anything except
Yeah.
provide right now extra defense or HP. Granted, once you get it to purple, if you click on the goggles, for example, maybe not. Maybe that's only specific. Are you sure? Click on the infantry ones you have at purple for a second. Okay, click on the backpack at gold. I might just be totally wrong here. No, the backpack, the one gold one you have on the backpack.
Okay.
Okay, so it actually is very specific. Yeah, I wouldn't touch the parts at all.
Okay.
Because every of those extra parts you have in there are doing nothing for you except inflating your might, which doesn't do anything, and increasing your ride or your range stuff, which again, you're not fighting with range in the field right now. So by the time you are, you'll already have your parts at red or white for the main ones that you want anyways.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think I've spent any parts on anything but riders for the last year and a half. All stuff I wish I would have known 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago when I started playing. But hey, it is what it is. Part of the learning curve.
Man, you've already got your backpack at level 10 refinement, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
The refinement's a little bit different. I mean, I almost kind of want to have that one kind of balanced across all of them because you do get benefits when you refine
Yeah.
across all of them. So that's kind of what I'm doing next. But
Yeah,
but that's a slow grind.
it is. And I don't spend any of my rewards on that. It's just kind of when I get them from achieving certain rewards at events, then I'll use them. But kind of whatever the game gives me.
I only started buying them. I mean, recently as I've been clearing out the shop, the whatever it's called, the shop or whatever. Hey, just give me 1 second. I have to go take a really quick pee.
Sure.
Good pee. Okay. So, equipment, armaments, beasts, heroes, march lines. I mean, I think we've gone through pretty much everything in regards to a top-down analysis.
Extremely, I can't say enough, extremely helpful. I just have a couple questions, and that's more to leadership.
Sure.
But as far as looking into my account, man, you've been so helpful.
Sure. I appreciate that. 1 second. Yeah, that's fine. I'll let him for now. Okay, so that's, I mean, and as it seems like we're looking at your account, it looks pretty good. You got a decent set with you. You're obviously got a decent amount of kills. All that we want you to do now is punch a little bit harder, bring down your mighting, bring down your rating so you'll get better matchmaking in the long run, and basically just make you hit a lot harder for the might that you do have. Because you've got a good setup, you got a good foundation, and I think just a little bit of this, like what we've done today, a little bit of this focus will do a lot better for you in the long run.
Awesome. I appreciate it. That's great.
Yeah. And you know what to do with your cars too, so we've gone over that as well. So what questions do you have in regards to leadership and the rest? Like what kind of things are you looking for?
Man, so my alliance, we've been in this, region 174 for the whole time since the creation. I have a great alliance. A lot of my alliance are like me, maybe a little less developed, but with the same mentality of like everyone's trying to focus on punching harder.
Right.
We have a Discord channel where we share, your videos and tips and all this stuff. I feel like we're just about to get to the next level competitively.
Okay.
And just really asking for like advice on how to do that. What are the next steps I can take to get the alliance to that point. I have a mixture of a lot of free to play and some people that casually spend, and then there's a handful of people like me where they spend, but we have no whales.
Sure. So
And we've been successful in the last 6 months in events. They're kind of hit and miss like everything else, but
sure.
we've become more successful. So with sometimes it's difficult to get the player engagement going,
Right.
but winning always improves that. So I know getting to the next level would only increase that.
Sure. And I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head. We're kind of in the same boat. We just moved into Elite over the last couple of events, over the last couple of months, and have been finding a really good home there in regards to competition, keeping people active and stuff like that. But a lot of it comes down to the main mentality of what your alliance is doing. And I think this is a harder conversation to kind of justify or to kind of get into than most people are aware of, because it comes down to a lot of personal understanding. For example, you spend a decent amount of money in the game, correct?
Yeah,
You're pretty active in the game, correct?
correct.
You want other people to be the same type of active and participating, right? You want them to push as hard as they can too, right?
Of course.
So this becomes the idea that you need to foster at everything. So in GROP, for example, our major thing is I don't care really what might you are. I give a shit about how much how much of your weight that you carry. So we got players that are 60 million might. We've got players that are 260 million might, right? And everything in between. And I don't care about your might. I care about how much of your might you carry. So in an event, we have something called a ratio. And this is something that I expect all of my players to deal with, all my players to perform around, and understand the ramifications if they can't perform well, okay? So that ratio is how many points you bring in compared to how much might you have. So let's take you, for example. 186 million might. We're full statted out. That's your biggest might right now without being inflated with other armaments. 186 million, right?
Right.
So in an event, you should be shooting for earning about 186 million points. This means if you're a 60 million account or a 70 million account, you're only shooting for 60 million points or 70 million points. And all of that is achievable in rallies, garrisons, right? And just being active in the game. You look at AR, there's tons of opportunities to earn points in AR as long as you're simply being active, simply being, participating and simply being there. So our focus is a 1-to-1 ratio. Some do a 0.5 to 1 ratio, right? 2-to-1 ratio. Some people do a 3-to-1 ratio, depending on how active you want to be. But at GROP, we focus on a 1-to-1 ratio. And we reward gold based on that. Let me ask you a question. How does your alliance deal with gold? Like alliance full of gold?
The three biggest, the people that buy the most kind of decide on what to do with it. I kind of took a democratic way of doing it. We give 70% back to whoever bought gold to begin with, and then we award gold on occasion. Nothing set on concrete, no set of rules, but that's more towards what I want to get into. And this 1-to-1 ratio of what you just mentioned is a perfect matrix to actually start doing that.
So at GROP, and this is one of the things that I've been very steadfast on, and we have lost players over this. We have lost potential whales over this. We have lost, we have lost a lot of potential players in this, but what we've gained is a group of people who actually give a shit about showing up and fighting and participating in a game. Okay? And the way that we've done this is very simple. The people who spend money in our alliance understand they're not getting their gold back for spending. You don't get a bonus just because you spend money in the game. You're already getting shit in the game for spending. You don't need the extra free stuff. So I've made that very clear. We've taken all of that gold that we generate, and we have a couple of whales in our alliance, but most of it is just the regular average spender. And every month after the event cycle, like every IR and every AR, I will sit down at the end of each event and I write up a spreadsheet for both ones to track what points they have, what might they have. What points they have, what might they have. They take the average. And then what we do is we reward players however much our monthly vault has saved in the month. That amount is getting split up evenly between the top performers and the secondary performers in our alliance, which means that as long as you're participating, I'll give you an example. In our last rewards, I ended up giving 14 individual players 4,500 gold apiece. And then I ended up giving 3 other players 2,250 gold apiece just for simply participating and playing. So over half the alliance, got almost $20, more than $20 of free gold just for simply playing and participating. And that metric means that even if I have a 60 million player who scores 50 million points, can you imagine what 4,000 gold does to a 50 million player?
Huge, especially free to play.
Especially free to play. So that becomes our mentality. Our mentality is not to support the whales, and any alliance, unfortunately, I'll be blunt and I'll say this, any alliance that provides gold back to the people who spend are creating an environment where they're looking for just whales. And I don't think that's the right mentality for the alliance to have, because the alliance can't win on just the backs of 1 or 2 people. You need
Absolutely.
30 people, 40 people, 50 people all participating as hard as they can. And
absolutely,
if my 60 million players know that they have just as much opportunity as the 150 million or 260 million players to earn that gold, their incentive to participate is far more, well, there's more of an incentive for them to participate during those events, during those fight times, during those rallies and garrisons than there is to just jump in PvP, car farm, car rally and things like that for rewards. Because we don't allow PvP and because we don't do car raids, the only time you're getting points is during the fight times themselves, which, in my opinion, is the best time to be earning your points. That's when you're going to get the most anyways. And if you're in here just to PvP or do car battles, I mean, are you really enjoying the game and playing it to its full potential? I don't think so.
Right. No, I love that. That definitely maximizes free-to-play players, the ones that play religiously anyway. No, I absolutely love that idea. Makes perfect sense. The hardest thing is I hate P2P battles. I hate it. I don't take part. I understand why some people do to achieve the rewards of the event. I guess that will be a change on policing that if we do switch over to that, which I absolutely love the idea. But besides watching out for P2P fights, it makes perfect sense. I love it, and I could definitely see engagement increasing substantially with that.
The hardest part that we find, and granted, there is you have to be a little bit of flexible. Like we open PvP, for example, in the last day after I take scores. So we'll open PvP. If our event, for example, if our IR, we're winning and the last day there's nothing to do, I'll score the event early and then open up PvP. So then people can PvP as much as they want for their basic rewards, but it won't influence the gold ratio. Because the gold ratio is specifically for what people are fighting for, right? That's what people are focusing on. So that gold ratio is what we're hyper focused on.
Yeah.
Once I score that ratio, once it's tracked and once I have it marked, we'll open up PvP typically on the last day, unless the event is super, nail biting. It goes to the last minute and there's fighting the whole time. Then I'll take that snapshot right at the end. Or in our last AR, for example, our last AR this last week was done within the first day because our enemies turned on each other. So in that situation, knowing that nobody's going to get their ratio, we decided to not even include it for gold rewards. So you have to have some flexibility in that, but as long as your main focus is on benefiting those that are participating for the focus of winning the event or doing well in the event, and not focusing on just scoring well, you'll start to see a noticeable shift. Yes, it's going to make some people leave, but if you recruit on that nature, and if you maintain holding out that standpoint, you will recruit players who maintain that nature. And then just like GROP has, we have players that come to us now because we've got this mentality, because they've heard this is how we do things, and that everybody has the potential for rewards, and that all you really need to do is get out there and play.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. The big spenders that make the decisions, that we're actually all for giving the gold back, but we couldn't agree on how to do that, so we kind of just didn't. This 1-to-1 ratio is genius. I think it's great. Yeah.
So what we do is that I'll take anybody who scores above a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you score more than your points, right, you'll get top rewards. If you score between 0.75 and 1 of your ratio, so if you score 75% of your might in points, you'll get lower rewards. If you score less than 50%, you get nothing. So that way there's still incentive to, push so that it's not just for those who are able to score 1-to-1, but those who are still working on getting up to it. So they'll get half rewards. So they'll get the minimum rewards from there instead. And then literally every month, sorry, go ahead.
No, just develop a matrix that makes sense for the alliance. That makes perfect sense.
And then instead of setting specific hammered out rewards every single month, like instead of saying top rewards will get 6,000 every time or 4,000 every time, I simply said top rewards will simply get whatever the vault can afford.
Yeah.
So the more that we save up, the more that those rewards are. The less that we save up, the less those rewards are. And on average, our top rewards are between 4,000 and 6,000 gold every single month.
Yeah, that's great.
Right. And again, it's going to come down to what your alliance can afford as you recruit more spenders and more payers and more things like that. As people spend, even the smaller players start to spend a little bit more here and there, you'll be able to reward more from there, and you'll start to see more activity and more participation, I think, from that. And don't get me wrong, you will have some people that try to game the systems just for gold, but that becomes your responsibility to simply weed those people out, right?
Right.
And as a leader, it's our perspective to be able to weed out the haves and have-nots from our alliance anyways.
Yeah. That is great advice. As a leader, there's not much online as far as leadership. There's not much advice. There's not much talk about it or videos. That is an invaluable piece of information you kind of share with me, which I honestly can't wait to implement.
Well, I'll tell you, I think the reason is because there are so many different avenues to being a good leader, and people don't want, people call me a good leader, but I don't like to call myself a good leader because to me, it's kind of egotistical. Like, people follow me and I have a good perspective, and that to me is enough to say, to warrant, yes, you're right. Like, I do kind of know what I'm talking about a little bit. But in the same breath, I think a lot of the experience, because it's so individual in experience, like, I can tell you this is how we do our alliance, but the truth is it could not work in yours. It might not work in yours. It might create animosity between the haves and the have-nots. Maybe some people will think that they can't get those points. That was something that we had to come across too, right? What's the best way to get points? Well, people assume that the best way to get points is fighting in the field. It's not. Your best way to get points is in rallies and garrisons. So another thing that you should focus on doing, or at least that we do in GROP, is that we focus less on field fighting, more on rallies and garrisons. Right? So we're not fighting in the field near as often, but when we do, it's because we're supporting our rallies, because we're supporting the garrisons, because we're defending, right? It's not just wasted field battling. It's very strategic field battling in that sense. Just like when I look at Pompeii, for example. I'll give you a quick rundown of what we do on the strategy for Pompeii, just so that you kind of understand what our strategy overall is. We only field fight in Pompeii during 2 specific times. During zombies and during the biocanister. Other than that, we're not field fighting on the field at all. We're sending rallies and garrisons at the operations base and the helipads. Because that's what matters. And in a game, in Island Raid, in Archipelago Raid, and any of that kind of stuff, does field fighting win the game? No.
No. Yeah.
Guess what does? Rallies, garrisons. You can have an alliance of field fighters, but if you don't have 1 or 2 rallies and garrison players to be able to fall back on and defend on, The rest of it is moot, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So not only do you still have to have one or two players that have those sets that you can rely on, have a garrison leader and have a rally leader, but you need to have the troops to support in the field, to add to those garrisons and refill those rallies and garrisons. And that is the hardest part, especially if all your troops are dying in the field, you won't have what you need to refill rallies and garrisons.
Yeah.
And this is why I keep telling people, don't fight 5 in the field. Do not fight 5 in the field. It is the most expensive way to play this game. The developers love you when you fight 5 in the field. I went a long time in my career fighting with 1 march in the field and doing really well simply by fighting smart, fighting with other tier 6 fighters, fighting with other groups of people, never being the target of a swarm. You see what I'm saying? There's ways to fight smart and still be effective with your resources, your troops, and everything else. And that's something that a lot of people, especially the lower might 100 million players, need to understand. They're trying to fight like us 200 million fighters that are fighting 2 or 3 or 4 marches in the field. And they're wondering why they're not getting points. They're wondering why they're not getting resources. They wonder why they're running out of speed ups.
Yeah.
It's because you shouldn't be fighting 5 in the field. My hardcore line now, if your armament set is not above 3.5 million, it should not be in the field, period. You should not work on another set until your one set is at least 3 million, 3.5 million.
Yeah.
Because like you said, yes, having 3.5 million sets is great, but I'll tell you, if you have 1 3 million set, or 1 3.5 million, 1 3 million, and 1 2 million set, your 2 million is doing nothing but filling your hospital.
Yeah. It's a hard mindset to change players, but we've gradually started down that path.
Yeah, it's
And
incredibly difficult.
It's the game's fault because that's what everyone wants to do. They want to fight as much as possible other troops. It's kind of what the game wants you to do, like you said.
Yeah, they want you to spend money. They want you to spend your resources and speed ups and troops because they know that once you do, you'll have to spend to get it back.
Yeah.
Well, I subscribe to the school of fuck IGG. Let's do this the right way. Let's have as much fun as we can and be as efficient as we can. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to be as strict on yourself as possible. Don't open up that second march or that third march until you're comfortable at 3.5, 3 million to 3.5 million. And if that means that you only fight with 2 marches in the field, then only fight with 2 marches in the field. Just make sure that you have 3 people with 2 marches in the field. Because 3 people with 2 marches in the field is better than 2 people with 4 marches in the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can get that by simply having an active alliance, which I'm sure that you'll get as you're building up, right? Because you have the right mentality.
Yeah. No, this is great. I really appreciate your time. This has been both parts my account, but really the alliance part is kind of total game changer. And I know I have to come up with the right ratio and matrix that works for our alliance, but just having these options are total game changers. That I know it's going to increase player activity and engagement. It's going to be a game changer just for what the players we have now, not even considering, potential new ones.
Well, it's one of those things, like you can say that gold is available, but once you do your first big handout and you get a bunch of people who push really hard in an event, getting 3,000 gold as a reward, or 4,000 gold as a reward, or even 2,000 gold as a reward, you'll see the focus change almost instantly. And I think that, to me, has always been the benefit of what I like about this game. Because, like, the alliance that you build, although this is a social experiment, this is a social game, it's also a war game. So you want to kind of have a balance on both. So having your players focus on being present and being active in the alliance, as well as having that fall back on being a family and supporting each other, that, to me, is what really denotes a good alliance.
Yeah, I agreed.
Right.
And we have that. We are a family. We've been together for a long time. We're just missing what you kind of went into to get to the next level.
Yep.
Which is it's key for us. That's it's huge.
And I think you'll get there. You put in a couple of things to just kind of get people focused on what you want. So the concept is not to just, give them the reward or give them a ratio focus to go on. It's to kind of amp up the reason why you have the ratio. It's not just to put it there, but to explain what it's there for. What's the purpose behind the ratio, right? Why are we enacting this gold reward? What's the purpose behind it? Because people are far more, they're far more likely to act accordingly if they know why they're doing something, especially if it's for their own benefit. And if you mention that this now gives everybody the capability to earn gold by simply performing, right, during the times that we need you to, you'll see people logging in specifically to fight at those times, or logging in specifically to see what's happening, to see what other stuff they can participate for.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the biggest performance metric that you can go on, is how often people want to log in.
Yeah, agreed. No, that's great.
Cool. Any other questions, concerns, or anything else before we wrap up? This has been probably one of the longest lessons we've done, but I think it's also been one of the most educational, so I appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate your time. This is definitely long and in a good way. I really do appreciate your time, all the advice. You've given me a lot to think of, a lot of things I'm going to do right away for both my personal account and then the Alliance. This has been extremely helpful.
Perfect.
Beyond words on how helpful this has been. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for another episode of School's in Session. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. If you got to this point, go ahead and smash that like button. Comment down below what your favorite tip, trick, or advice that we gave today was. Don't forget as well to like the channel and subscribe, especially if you haven't already, and share it with your friends. The more people we can get this out to, the better. The more that we can grow the community, the better. That's what this is all about. Now, don't forget, if you can, click the join button, become a member. Basically, you'll get access to videos first. Typically, I try to put them on access to members first. You'll get emojis, you'll get images and icons when we start doing live chats, which I am working on. I'm trying to get a situation set up so we'll be able to live stream. Once that happens, you'll obviously have access to that with chats and things like that. So I hope you guys enjoy. Other than that, thanks very much for tuning in. Love, peace, chicken grease, and until next time, stay lifted.